Hello, Yoga Hippie here. This is Rose.
Self-care Siren.
Yay! Okay, so I know it's usually just me in my videos, but me and my friend Rose and Angelica, who you can't see behind here, well, come here. And we were all talking. Well, it might be a little hard for her to get out from wherever she is.
There, yeah.
She's waving. Anyway, we were all, we've been friends for a few years, and we have a lot of different talents, and we were discussing some of the different things that we bring to the table. And Rose here is a
cannabis coach.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to do a few videos, and it might take a minute to roll them all out, but for sure we're going to start with talking to Rose here about what she does and why. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Thanks for being here. My name's Kristina. And now Rose is going to take over a little bit, and I'm just going to ask you questions, right?
Yeah.
So what is a cannabis coach?
It can look like a bunch of different things because we all come from different walks. So personally, I come from massage therapy, and I have seen so many people that can't relax that I found the plant, found my own ability to get that angry monkey out of the head.
Okay.
And that became a whole avenue that I was curious about until my mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And as soon as she got that diagnosis, you start looking for anything that could possibly help.
Right. Yeah.
So she was in the state of Illinois, meaning she had access to legal THC.
Okay.
And my brother happened to work at a dispensary. So I saw the difference between the work that he did to try to get the medicine to the people and then the people that didn't even know how it could help them.
Okay.
And there's just this whole gap in between, and I'm willing to have those hard conversations.
All right.
So
you got into it originally for your mom, but there's more to it than just THC,
much,
right?
Yes.
I mean, cannabis covers
over 200 compounds.
Okay,
in the plant.
so CBD and THC
and
together or
CBN
separate?
And CBG.
Okay, we won't be talking about all that today, but
But yeah.
Okay, so if we wanted to just keep this conversation, simple for people who maybe they're not even.
Why would you call me?
Yeah.
Right?
Why would you call a canna coach? Is that what you're called, a canna coach? Right?
I call myself a self-care advocate because I also help you approach those other parts of your life that just are uncomfortable.
Okay.
Like you might need a routine. You want to
Right.
talk about that?
Right.
Because if you're trying to do a regular microdose, and that's something I'll explain here in a second.
Okay.
You're going to need to know, like, I always brush my teeth in the morning, so I also take my dose in the morning.
Okay.
Just like any other thing, you're going to have to kind of know some stuff about your life before you adjust it.
Okay.
So as a cannabis wellness coach, I ask you what your life goals are.
Okay.
So it could be something like weight loss. It could be something like inflammation, pain management, hormonal balance, digestion. I personally am hypermobile, and so my joints are super unstable. I use THC and CBD every day to help with my joint pain.
Okay. But you can use CBD and THC
Separately or together.
THC separately or together. So this could apply. So tell us. Let's talk about that for a second. How could just CBD, if there are people who don't want to ingest or they can't maybe ingest THC? So maybe tell us how.
What would I do for them?
Yeah. What would you do for CBD? How can that help somebody?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about whole plant approach in a completely separate video. And I know we already kind of teased about that, but the plant itself has two different major components that we work with. I mentioned those other strings of letters, so we don't have to go all down that rabbit hole.
Right.
But CBD is a lot of the body stuff.
Okay.
So that's going to be inflammation. That's going to be where you start to see pain relief and kind of that like feeling ease.
So if you're anxious,
it can help with that.
And it can help with, because I don't think I really understood that CBD alone is, I mean, I guess it helps with pain relief, but I always hear about THC,
THC can actually increase your perception of pain.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
So when I'm working with someone that has come to me because they're specifically inflamed, they are going through Tylenol and ibuprofen faster than their kidney and liver can handle it, and it's just not a long-term solution.
Right.
What we try to do is work together in a series of weeks, because you have an endocannabinoid system. You know that?
Ah.
Hey,
what is
so
that?
do I.
What is
Angelica, you do too.
Endo what?
Endo inside me, cannabinoid.
Cannabinoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the plant is going to be a phytocannabinoid, plant-based cannabinoid.
Okay.
So as a cannabis coach, I'm helping you figure out what parts of this plant, CBD, THC, whatever, are going to help you actually get your system jump-started.
Okay.
After 4 weeks of regular microdosing, you've gotten your own internal fires stoked to the point where they start working better for themselves.
Oh,
And
see.
your endocannabinoid system is just your balance regulator. It's your homeostasis. It's throughout the entire body. It's more concentrated in some places, but just like your hormonal system is free floating and you kind of are used to thinking about that, this endocannabinoid system can help balance and regulate all those other places that are severely out of whack.
Huh.
So CBD is one of the ways where if you are deficient, you could start seeing full body inflammation, higher water retention, really upset stomach from certain things, or like you have an emotional stomach. Sometimes the use of that plant can just bring you a little bit closer to feeling more centered. And that's where kind of that self-care comes in as well. I also try to make sure that clients are comfortable with themselves so that they can have this experience. If all of a sudden you're all over the place, so you're a client that has migraines and you come in because like, oh my gosh, you're shut down for 2 weeks of the month, high stress, highly sensitive people, they might have 1 milligram that just shakes them all over the place because their sensitivity is so much that bringing them closer to the center, like imagine a pendulum, is just a severe movement. So by using the whole plant as well as different components of the plant, you can approach different things.
Okay, so I heard you say migraines, pain relief, inflammation, anxiety. Is there anything else?
Oh my gosh.
Weight loss.
Yeah, the books about it are like this thick.
So basically you could use
Sexual
not
health.
THC, but CBD for anything. It sounds like it. Just about
Almost.
anything. Okay. Okay, and then...
anything that's off balance can theoretically come closer to balance depending on what body system it's a part of.
Okay. So, all right. I don't know if you could say anything about this or if there's anything to add to this.
Also, I'm not a doctor. Please always go and talk to your doctor. The first thing that I make any client do is sign an agreement that lets them know I am a massage therapist. So like stretches are definitely in my wheelhouse. We can talk about all that.
Right.
But we're going to talk to your doctor because there are some medications that are heck no's. We do not touch anybody with a 10-foot pole until they have their doctor on board with this process because there are some things that will change how your medications interact. So if you have a laundry list of medications, that means that we are involved very, very specifically.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you can't.
Right.
It just means that stuff needs to be monitored.
Right. Okay. Well, and CBD is legal across America.
Yep. You just order it on the internet.
Yeah, you can order it on the internet or go to the grocery store or a special.
Don't get it from a
store.
gas station, please.
Please. Found this for $10.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so one of the things that I thought was really interesting about CBD and THC was that I learned that because I have ADHD, so they said that I needed a 2-to-1 ratio, right? So basically that's not enough THC to make me high, but the combination of the ratio with the CBD to the THC actually helps the CBD work better is what I understood, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like
THC,
I'm going to get high
No.
off of that, although it would probably show up in a drug screen. So
Yes.
if I had to worry about that, that would be a different situation. But it's not like, so I'm just trying to put people at ease that maybe don't know. Because, I mean, a lot of people know
Your
about
ratios
CBD
could
and don't
be
have a
20
problem
to
with,
1. It could be
Right.
you have 20 parts CBD and
Right.
THC. So this is called the Entourage Effect. If you want to give it a little search.
Okay. Entourage.
Later. Like,
All right,
I
look
have
that
an
up.
entourage. Yeah.
Effect.
So this is about that whole plant.
Okay.
The whole plant itself generally produces both THC, CBD, all those other compounds that I mentioned.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's just us humans that have decided, I want to get so high. I want this plant that only has THC that's so dank. Okay, well, that does not help my anxiety at all. It makes it way worse.
Right.
But for me, my ratio is 1 to 1. So it's just a number that I know about myself. So no matter how much THC on board, I try to have the same amount of CBD.
Okay.
Sometimes that might look like mixing both of the flower in the bowl. Sometimes that might look like oils for me. Sometimes that might look like 2 snacks for breakfast.
Right.
Depends on my day.
Yeah, so you can have edibles, you can buy it in a ratio that's already like made for you. Like I could go and buy 2 to 1 or whatever, and then you can have. Well, there's everything. There's topicals, there's sprays, there's sublingual that goes under your tongue. There's sprays. There's
personal lubricants.
Right? There's like all kinds of manner of CBD out there. Mm-hmm. And then all the different ratios. And again.
So your ratio, the idea behind that is you have these receptors.
Okay.
And when THC shows up, it opens this back door for the whole CBD party.
Okay.
But if there is no THC, you might experience much less or maybe no effects from the CBD. The plant wants to be a whole plant. So when you're looking at labels, you're going to see things like full spectrum,
right,
broad spectrum,
now,
and isolate specifically for CBD. And those are all telling you about whether or not they have any THC or other compounds in there. Those other compounds have other amazing things that they do as well.
Right.
So when you are giving yourself a little search, checking out CBD options, okay, you found that those people have the farming capacities that you really enjoy. Those are female owned. Heck yes, 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 yes. Do they have a certificate of analysis? Okay. Was their material third-party lab tested? Did somebody else come in and say, heck yes, this is what you say it is?
I see.
And then on there, you're going to see a percentage of CBD. You're going to see a THC. That's going to be your Delta 8 in there. Okay. And that THC number, Delta 9. There's so
I'm still
many.
Like, Delta what?
There
Delta
are so
what?
many. Well, and then you don't even have it active. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, you're going to have all of these percentages. And for it to be legal and available and not regulated by the state and then the dispensary system, it's going to have less than 0.3% THC. So there could be some in there if you have a full spectrum. So that might be enough for your system to get activated, but it's not going to be enough to match that 2-to-1 ratio that you were recommending. Right. So one of the things your cannabis coach would do with you is not only titrate you to the amount that is responding to your body, but also find those ratios and help you figure out what terpenes does your body respond to.
We're not talking about terpenes today.
No, that's a whole nother thing. Oh my goodness.
I've been cross-eyed talking about terpenes before.
Yeah, and you already know about essential oils. That's the easiest way to talk about them.
Yeah.
But those are all variables to how you could respond to this one individual plant.
Okay. So we talked about why you became and the different reasons or ways you can use cannabis. There was something else we were
Cannabis can't kill you. That's a really big one. First thing that I always want to talk about with everybody is safety. If you ingest and then you go do something else like drink alcohol or go race car driving, those are the items that will definitely kill you.
Right.
Or possibly kill you. Not definitely, maybe. But cannabis does not stop your ability to breathe, and it will not stop your heart.
Okay. Good.
So you might not be able to get off the couch. You might be like here, and like your
that would be like in the couch, right?
Yeah.
That's how I always remember
sativa.
This.
Sit it up.
Get shit done weed.
Yep.
All right.
But like, if you see a friend who is so zonked out with THC that they have just blasted off, sometimes if it's pretty soon, you can give them some CBD and it'll kind of rein it in. Because the plant itself balances out both sides. So if you are terrified of THC, but it's legally available to you and you have the ability to either go get it at a dispensary, get yourself a card and get it at a dispensary, then you're not going to necessarily get high off of having a ratio
Right.
Unless your ratio is heavier to the THC side.
Right.
So there's this whole range of therapeutic benefits, and your intent coming to the plant can be different every time.
Right. That's true. It's all about intention as well. All right. Okay. Was there anything else that we wanted to add to this conversation about this cannabis conversation?
Stay curious.
Yeah.
It's really an individual journey. You are going to have no idea at all until you experience it. My metabolism is completely different than your metabolism. We have completely different needs. Our bodies are completely different. I have clients that range from 3 milligrams of only CBD to 65 milligrams of CBD. To ratios that are drastically across the board when you start mixing the THC in for those it's available to legally. And the one thing I can guarantee is that each of them has had so much self-discovery as they learned what it felt like to feel healthy again, that I would say not rushing it is the best gift that cannabis has ever done. It's a plant. It's a weed, so it grows pretty fast. But if you don't actually take the time to have that conversation with health as part of your intention, then the plant generally will just take you to that kind of escapism place. And sometimes that's the place that people get really uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure.
Paranoia, other things like that.
Right.
And that would be the overdose.
Right.
There's no real overdose. It is, fun word, biphasic. So it's a bell curve. So what doesn't work for you, then might all of a sudden hear, best day ever. And then you take too much, more, worst day ever.
I was going to say, if you are going to experiment with the edibles, just be really,
low.
Yeah,
low.
Really careful. Because
wait 4 hours.
Less is more. Yeah.
Always.
Wait.
Don't eat more. Wait till tomorrow.
Wait. That's smart. Wait till tomorrow.
You got a new day tomorrow.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. We're going to have a couple more videos about how to make CBD oil and then the different ways that you can use that. So, all right. Thanks so much. Like the video, subscribe to more. And we're going to put Rose's info on the description. So if you want to talk to her about cannabis or have her lovely skills in your world, with her canna coaching, she would love to do that with you. So, thanks.